Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, my original channel. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe. Well, I would consider this to be an impromptu video. For this video, I'm not reading off my bullet points. I have some notes here, which I may refer to if I can't run everything off the top of my head. But I thought of this video about 2 days ago, and I jotted my notes down at the park yesterday. And I think this video would fall under personal thoughts of the day and maybe personal stories as well. This video is dedicated to my brother, Amal. Happy birthday to my brother, Amal. He doesn't know that I'm shooting this, but I thought it would be appropriate to do so. I think that this video will kind of fall under a Ramble, as one of my heroes and fellow content creators and a senior content creator, BGS, says. So this will be more of a ramble, a personal ramble. So today's my brother's birthday, and again, he doesn't know that I'm shooting this, so this video will be a surprise to him, and I guess in a way a gift because we're not together right now. But birthdays. So I think birthdays become more significant as you age. It's funny when you're younger. At least in the family, in the home that I grew up in, I received presents, whether that was at an early age, toys, or, as I progressed in years, money. So I was always blessed to receive gifts on my birthday. A lot of my peers, well, I won't say a lot, but some of my peers were not blessed to receive those things on their birthdays and around Christmas time. But as you get older, it becomes less about, at least for me, it becomes less about the gifts and the new things that you get and money, and it becomes more about the memories and just being thankful for seeing another year, and just being thankful for what you already have, and just being thankful for who's still around you. What's interesting is, each year you see people fall off and die, whether it's celebrities or people at work or people in your personal network or people in organizations that you're involved in, whether it's your church or volunteer organizations. And then with each year you realize, wow, I'm still here and that person is gone. And you really think about that when it's someone from your own peer group or younger. And Kobe Bryant, for example, Kobe Bryant was in my peer group, and I think that shook a lot of us, not just because he was Kobe Bryant, but also because he was in our peer group. And then you think about all of the boomers who are still here, who have lived for years, and you think about all the people that they've seen die younger than them. So that becomes significant. And you think about all these things around your birthday. Around my birthday, it had become a tradition to fly out west to hang out with my best friend, and at least when the two of us are together sitting around and drinking, our childhoods always come up, and somehow I get into a discussion about the challenges that I had to experience on the way up, and he probably talks about his life as well. But one of the things that he always likes to sneak in there and remind me of as well, your brother had it hard because he had to look out for you when you were younger. And every time my best friend says that, I just kind of look at him, like, why do you always have to sneak that in there? Because it really chaffs my hide. I had to look that up on Google before I shot this, but it really chaffs my hide when my best friend says that. And I just realized that it's the younger brother, older brother thing. So there is truth in that. That my brother, as the older brother, he had to look out for me, and he had certain considerations as the older brother. But, amongst siblings, there are those dynamics. The older child is thought to be the most responsible and is oftentimes looked at to set an example for the younger child. And as the younger child, or children, you may be growing up in the shadow of your older sibling. So that's just something you have to deal with as you grow up. And then at some point, it becomes necessary to step out of that shadow, or to try to step out of that shadow to create a name and an identity for yourself. And there are advantages to being the younger child, because you get to look at what the older child is doing or has done, and you get to decide whether or not you're going to follow that, or you're going to go in your own path altogether. But there is what I've seen in my walk throughout my life, is that there is a pressure, and it can be hard being the oldest child. And I've seen that not just in my family, but amongst my peers. It's hard being the older child. There's probably a lot of pressure associated with it, and you're looked at, you're expected to be a role model for your younger siblings, and you're getting the parenting probably at its highest intensity, because they say that parents get tired the more children that they have. And as the younger child, you're getting parents that are a little more worn down. So as the younger child, or as the younger siblings, you're the beneficiary of quite a few things. So I think that looking back, my brother probably had his own struggles as the older child. I've mentioned in my video content that, and even in my written content, that my parents split when I think my brother was 5 and I was 3, so I have no memory of my parents actually being together. And when children are, depending upon which age they are, or when there's a divorce, or when the children are born not outside of the setting of a marriage, if it's an older boy, that boy is thrust into being not just himself, but also the man of the house, the quote-unquote man of the house. And you see this in a lot of black households in the United States. So he not only has to try to grow up and become well-adjusted himself, but he also has to be the man of the house and set an example for those other siblings that are coming after him. So that's a lot of pressure. And for my brother, and probably for both of us, and this might chaff the hide of our family, but there weren't a lot of men around mentoring us and teaching us, and there were a lot of things that we had to figure out on our own. That's not to blame anyone or say that we had a bad upbringing, but it just is what it is. And I'm revising my message going forward that life is a race, and you're dealt a certain number of cards, and you have to make the best of what you can with those cards. So I think that my brother had his own unique challenges and struggles growing up being the oldest child. And that's across the board for a lot of families. I've mentioned this in my content, written and video, that I credit my brother. I followed him to the high school we went to, which was one of the top two high schools in Buffalo at that time, Hutch Tech High School. And I'm working on a book project right now discussing what my time on the high school basketball team at that high school, the book is about how that affected my life going forward and how that imparted certain lessons in me to go ahead and get my PhD and to become successful and do all these different things that I'm doing. But that was all made possible because my brother chose to go to that high school first. So when my brother went to Hutch Tech High School, I saw how proud everyone was of him and how ecstatic everyone was that he was going to that high school. And I looked at that and I decided, you know what? I want to do that for myself. I want to make everyone proud of me the way they're proud of him. So I followed him to that high school, and that was my main motivation for going. And I think that once again shows the power that the older siblings have in terms of setting an example for the younger siblings. Now, there are some instances where the younger siblings, dig their heels in and say, you know what, he's going there, I'm going over here to do my own thing. But in many instances, the younger siblings decide, okay, well, I'm gonna do what he did because I want to be like him, and I see how the family has responded to that. So I credit him for that. What's interesting is I think that, and I'm going to be brief with this one, I've heard throughout my lifetime that between the two of us, I look more like my father and I sound more like my father and I have a lot of my father's ways. By the way, when we were younger, a lot of folks thought that we were twins, though we're 2 years apart. But there is a minority of people who looked at the three of us and said that my brother looks more like my father. But regardless, my brother has a lot of my father's ways as well. And they're probably in some ways more similar than either would care to admit. And I'm going to stop there before I get myself in trouble. And so manhood has been a journey for the both of us. We're still learning, still growing, still learning things. And I think that, we were close growing up. We went through that phase where we were fighting. And we have had our falling outs over the years. But we've always been close, and we've been blessed to be close. And that's something that my mother always wanted, because she told, I know that she at least told me early that, whenever I'm gone and your father's gone, you and your brother are going to be all that you have left. So we're still close now, and that's a blessing for me, and hopefully a blessing for him as well. And I'm going to finish this by saying that my brother has been an integral part. I talked about my schooling. A lot of that stage was set by him, and he's probably going to watch this, and he's probably going to, feel like I did all that. But a lot of my schooling, this whole Dr. Dunbar thing, a lot of that was set by him. But in this stuff I'm doing now, my blogging platform, my written blogging platform, the artwork, that logo, I came up with the idea, but he's the one who actually put it together. My brother was always very artistic. In terms of the arts, not just drawing still images, but also animation. My brother contributed to this film here, Space Detective, which he helped produce with some buddies out west. So he's always been very artistic and very creative, and he created that logo for my blogging platform, the Big Words blog site. But he's been particularly instrumental in my content here on YouTube. My brother has a lot of experience in media and visual effects and movie making and editing film and all those little nuances and aspects my brother knows a lot about. And I affectionately in my videos call him my visual effects and media consultant. Well, that's in large part true. If you look at my early videos on this channel, they weren't that good. Many of them were crap, and I was uncomfortable on camera, and I felt like I had to shoot everything in one shot. And gradually, he's been telling me, you don't have to shoot everything in one shot. You can do this piece by piece by piece, edit them, put them together, which has been very, very helpful for my science content, because those are very complex videos to shoot. And he's told me you can, do things in multiple takes, make sure the lighting is correct. He's always giving me feedback on how I looked, relax a little bit more. So he's always coaching me from behind the scenes when I, create something. Right now I'm working on making trailers for my channels. And so I very much consider him to be the cook in the kitchen, or simply put, my consultant, my visual effects and media consultant for this, because I didn't really know what I was doing when I got onto YouTube. And even though I downloaded Filmora Wondershare, and I had, made videos when I was into salsa dancing years ago, it was my brother who said, okay, this is a playhead. This is how you can add your pictures into your videos. This is how you can add music files. You can adjust the sound. You can do this, this, and this. I didn't know how to do any of this before he started coaching me through it. So he's very, very, very creative, and very, very proficient with his hands and building things and taking things apart and putting things together, much more so than me. And I was telling my dad, and I'm going to stop this here, but I was telling my dad that, Dad, my brother knows a lot of stuff. He has a lot of skills, and he has a lot of a tremendous knowledge base on things. And I think that what's interesting is that in today's economy, it isn't necessarily about degrees and college degrees. It can come down to, in some instances, the skills that you have and how you market those skills and how you're able to sell those skills, particularly with the internet and everything we have available to us today. But I just wanted to say in this ramble, happy birthday to my brother. And thank you for all that you've done. And I hope that you make it a good day. And everyone, acknowledge your siblings and appreciate your siblings while they're here and while you have them. And it's not like that in every family. So I'm not going to get too mushy here. I'm going to stop. Please like this video. Please share it. And please subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.